Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it, and want to cover some great deals from our good friends over at Fanatical. They've got a star deal right now, which is essentially their flash deal, limited time deal on a game that I really enjoyed from earlier this year. It is an anime title, so obviously some of you guys aren't going to be into that, but if you're a fan of Bleach, it's a worthwhile game to check out. And we've got some other deals to go over as well. A lot of good stuff, so let's just get right into it, and let's start things off with the star deal. That is Bleach Rebirth of Souls, 50% off for $29.99. The deluxe edition is $44.19. The ultimate edition is $51.99. Now, a PC, generally speaking, not the best place to play the anime arena fighters if you are looking to take the game online. It is the year 2025 and Bandai Namco cannot figure out how to do cross-platform multiplayer in these anime games, and I've said it over and over again when I talked about games like Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, when I talked about all of these games that come out, and if they're gonna release it on PC, they're releasing it literally with handcuffs right out the gate, because PC audiences and Xbox audiences as well always gonna have a limited player base. The fact we don't have cross-platform multiplayer in the year 2025 is absolutely egregious, and Bandai Namco deserves to get clowned on so much more for that. It is actually insane that that is still the case, but I feel like, I love Bleach, I love Dragon Ball, I love these IPs, but we gotta call out Bandai Namco when we get this garbage over and over again. Nonetheless, this game itself, I loved the art style, loved the soundtrack, and as a longtime Bleach fan, had a great time going through the single-player campaign, which is fairly lengthy. Now, albeit a large portion of that single-player is kind of visual novel-esque, taking you to the story of Bleach, but then you also have these other point of view options as well. It's a really, really well done game, man. I liked it, and sometimes I'll just boot it up, enjoy the soundtrack, do some matches against, like, literal CPU, at night, and have a pretty good time with that. I feel like it's a pretty relaxing game as well, and I like the formula of how the game is structured. Essentially, you gotta hit your ultis to win the game. I mean, a big reason people play these anime games is just because they're super stylish, and, the ultis look pretty cool. And Bleach, it's like kind of baked into the battle system, which I thought was really well done. $29.99 base game, deluxe $44.19, ultimate is $52, 50% off, sizable discount on that, so thought I would give that a recommendation. We do have a PlayStation sale running at Green Man Gaming as well, some deeper discounts than the PlayStation sale as part of the autumn sale over on Steam. You've got, games that I recommend all the time. The PlayStation first-party games are some of my go-to games that I can always enjoy. You got Ghost of Tsushima. You got Marvel Spider-Man 2, $42 on that. Helldivers 2, Into the Unjust, $28.79. Into the Unjust is the update. The game is Helldivers 2. Stellar Blade, $42.59. Uncharted Legacy of Thieves, $17.99. God of War Ragnarok, still holding up in price at $43.19. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, $27 on that. Last of Us Part 1 is $27 as well. One of my favorite games of all time. That is one of those I'll play that game until I die type games. Love Last of Us Part 1, Last of Us Part 2. $36 on that. Look, the story and narrative is an abomination, but that game from a gameplay standpoint is legitimately incredible. I think everybody should play it. I literally think everybody should play it, and think about that coming from me, from the standpoint of hating the narrative as much as I do, because I do concede the fact that the narrative resonates with people differently. I'm not going to get on the high horse like the people that absolutely love this game being like, you just don't understand the context of the narrative. No, I'm going to tell you, I think everybody should play this game because, first of all, from a gameplay standpoint, it's legitimately one of the best games I've ever played, and narratively, while I didn't love it, a lot of people did, so I understand that different people are going to react differently to Last of Us Part 2. I think when you take out the best character of the franchise and you replace him with charisma vacuums, it leads to a pretty mundane and disjointed narrative, but well, that's just one man's opinion, you know what I'm saying? Returnal is $27, done by Housemarque, who are putting out Soros early next year on PS5. Hopefully it'll come to PC maybe by 2027, around that time. But Returnal's a challenging game, but it's incredibly rewarding. I know people that absolutely love Returnal, and I know people that think Returnal is legitimately one of the best games of this generation. So $27 on that is great. Horizon Forbidden West Complete Edition, $32.39 on that. And then Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered is $27. Unfortunately, Zero Dawn did get its price juiced up with the remastered release, but, you know, Sony being Sony. Love Horizon. Horizon is probably... I don't want to go as far as to say it's my favorite Sony IP. It might be my favorite Sony IP, though. Not in the sense that I think it's the best game that Sony puts out, but me personally, as far as pure enjoyment of exploring the open world, taking in the scenery, and narratively, especially with Horizon Zero Dawn, I thought that game was incredible. Forbidden West kind of goes off the rails with the narrative, and I get that people have their criticisms towards the game. I think a lot of people view Horizon as very Ubisoft-esque open world game design, but I love the open world, and certainly I never felt that Horizon was anywhere near as grindy as some of the Assassin's Creed games. I don't think that comparison's really fair, and I think narratively, even with Forbidden West's comical narrative at times, I still think narratively Horizon runs circles around all of the Assassin's Creed games from recent memory. Maybe Odyssey, you could say, had a strong narrative, but certainly Valhalla and Shadows, I would say Horizon runs circles around. Marvel Spider-Man Remastered, I did prefer Spider-Man 2018 over Spider-Man 2, especially from a narrative standpoint. Gameplay-wise, I would say Spider-Man 2 is stronger, but Spider-Man 2018 is a incredible game. And, you know, I just talked about how much I love Horizon, love Spider-Man as well. I've legitimately completed Spider-Man 2018 like 7 times, like some ridiculous number like that, at this point, I've lost count of how many times. Like, if we're talking about, that's the thing about these Sony games, man. When I'm ever, like, kind of burnt out of gaming, the Sony first-party games are games that I can always go to and have a pretty good time with. At least, you know, some of them. Last of Us Part 1, Horizon Zero Dawn, Spider-Man 2018. Those games are 3 of my go-to. I'm burned out of games, but I still want to play games. Those 3 gotta be there for me. And maybe you can say, oh, you're a filthy casual. Oh, you have a bad taste in games. Whatever. If you want to perceive that to be the case, more power to you. Days Gone is $17.99 as well. Spider-Man Miles Morales is $22.49. So some good deals there. Lastly, I do want to note there's a build your own Capcom Ultimate Bundle, which is $15 an item. Build your own bundle, 2 games for $29.99. Now, that sounds expensive. However, when you've got Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster and Onimusha 2, Samurai's Destiny, suddenly you realize there's quite a lot of value here. Like, those 2 in particular are the ones that are going to give you a lot of value with this bundle. Resident Evil Village Gold Edition is okay, and then Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin, that game holds up in price. And, you know, some of the Ace Attorney games would really Dead Rising Deluxe and Onimusha 2, those are the ones that are standouts to me. I do want to wrap up this video by noting that From Software games are all discounted. Dark Souls 2, and Dark Souls 3. They're, you know, a little bit cheaper than what they are on Steam, 55% off a pop. So Dark Souls 1 is $18.19, Dark Souls 2 is $18.19, and Dark Souls 3 is $27.29, $38.66 for the Deluxe Edition. Vomit-inducing price points, but what can you do? And then lastly, one of the, you know, breakout hits of this year, Peak, is 33% off for $5.35. Game has gotten a lot of traction this year, and yeah, get it a little bit cheaper over at Fanatical. That's gonna do it for me. Fanatical supports this channel, so you should support them, and if you buy any of these games using my affiliate link, I do get an affiliate commission, so that is much appreciated. That'll do it for me. Your thoughts down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.